Come on, Toast. That feels good right here, man. Golly, that is hot, dude. It feels so good. Let's go shoot a deer. I might not should have eaten that third brat yesterday. Crispy. I'm super excited. I also have this like kind of nervous anxiety a little bit because this is something that's kind of out of my league, out of my ballpark a little bit. But we're on our way in. We've worked our way up the last couple of days to elevation and kind of taken the long trip from Texas to Colorado. So now it's game time. We're about to get on horses here in a few minutes, and we're gonna head up really high, and we're gonna hope that the research that I've done over the last couple of months is enough to teach me how to shoot a big old slob mule deer. Into the wilderness. Don't eat anything all day till 2:15 p.m. and then eat a little bit and I'm full. Ready to get to whitetail season so I can be in weight. I guess I can trust it. Try to take a little nap just to make sure we don't get like altitude sickness because we're pretty high and I'm feeling a little bit dizzy. But I couldn't nap, too much anxiety. So we're gonna work our way up here and try to get up high, take a look at some of the basins in the area this evening before it gets too dark, and hopefully locate a buck or a group. We still have a day and a half till opener, so we got plenty of time to find one, but these flatlanders, they can't move the same way the mountain guys can. It's gonna be hard. Time for this bad boy. Monster mango. I don't know if he has forks. Just like it's like a big fork overall. Hoping that his big brother's in there. Looks like a buck. Be able to be found. Got into the willows. Holy smokes. Gotta pee. We knew we'd be walking through the middle of them this morning. She's acting weird though, like almost like she's following us. It's weird. I have to take this jacket off in a second though, I know that. I'm getting toasty. So those deer were kind of running when I saw them at first, about 150 yards away. Came right by right here, and then they kept looking back, so I don't know if it's a bear or other deer or a moose or what. I don't know what they might be spooked from, but I kind of want to peek up over this ledge and see. Daggone, got home with money. There they are. Looking like a doe fest. There's a deer over there to the left. Watch me put jackets on. He's pretty big, but I don't know if he's a shooter. I think he doesn't have a very good fork on his left side. But like he's got a solid frame. He's the best one we've seen so far. He's not a shooter. I don't think he's a shooter. They always look big in velvet, you know, but he's got a weak fork. He's got pretty good fronts, but he's not very wide. I just don't think he's like a deer we're gonna make a play on the first day for sure. Tape my feet up, try to keep from getting blisters as we head up this next hill. We're going to be up about 12.5, I think. A baby buck. Big forker. That's one that we saw him yesterday, pretty much right there. Real hard to see. There's a feller over here, got dropped in earlier today, made his way up and glassed for just a little bit, not long at all. But the two bucks we've been kind of following this afternoon ended up getting wigged out in the willows and kind of ran, and then they'd stop for a few minutes and they'd run a little bit more, and finally they started running downhill, and that little one was trying to catch up, and it made the other bigger one like even more nervous. So they just like were in a full out sprint downhill, ended up pretty much right where we're going this evening, but I think they were running pretty fast, so hopefully they kind of got out of dodge and we're gonna miss them. But we're not in their core range anymore. Even if we do spook them, I think it won't be that big of a deal. So we're gonna start working our way down this scree pretty slowly, and tomorrow's opening day. We don't really have a deer pegged yet after a day and a half of scouting, but we got a plan to go back to an area that's got a lot of animals in it, and we can see elk and sheep, and we've seen deer over there yesterday afternoon. So we're gonna work back over that way in the morning, probably be ready to spike out. And right now all I can think about is heating something up in the camp and eating, because I am starving. Oh, dude, so heavy. That's a heavy pack. Spiking out today. Getting lots of stuff. Kind of ready for 3 days, so lots of food, bow, tents, sleeping pads, all of it, sleeping bags. But once we get there, maybe it won't be so bad. They're $4 and none of them are bigger than like 1 euro. Come on, man. Bunch of sheep over there. Well, just spooked a shooter. Saw those down there. There was a shooter with them, which was weird, but he was pretty wide. He wasn't like crazy big deer, but he was definitely a deer that I was unbuckling my bow for. It's right down there at those spruce trees. You might be able to see him. He was about 150 yards away when I saw him. Well within range. I'm not sure if it's the same buck, but I see a big frame buck. He's not going to score very high, but he's big frame. There's a bunch of deer down there too, so I'm going to grab a spotter, I guess, bow, and a snag. He's sitting there with a smaller buck right now. I kind of hypothesize that they will move. And as the sun kind of changes direction, so hopefully it's not far. Hopefully we can keep tabs on them. And I'm going to look at Onyx and see if I can find a way down to him. But I think I want to shoot this deer. Like, he's a big frame. I'm just kind of like hesitant because it took so long to draw the tag, you know. But he's got a big frame, that's for sure. So I'm pretty sure that buck's bedded. Got him. I can see his antler every once in a while down in this hole in these willows down here. And he's a big frame. Not going to score well, but sometimes the way they look is cooler than the way they score. Most of the time, actually. So I think what we're going to do is make a play, go around and set up, kind of play it by ear, but set up to where hopefully we can get a shot when he comes back out. I think he'll come back out that same little chute right there in the willows. Hopefully we'll be close enough that we can get a shot this afternoon sometime. Yeah, there's a way, I think. Get close. I see him. like he was in there over and over and over again, and I just couldn't find a window. I thought I had, like, you could see the other stems of the willows on the back side. I'm pretty sure all I needed him to do was be on the back side of the hole there and come back to his bed. And they started getting up and messing around, doing stuff, and I thought they were leaving for good. And just the way that it's set up, I don't think I don't know if I'd have been able to get another see them bed. For one, I wouldn't be able to see them bed, and I wouldn't be able to get in on them again. So I just decided to charge off down the hill, and thought we had miscommunication. I thought they went back in here, they went down this way, and I basically just ran into them again. But I just thought for sure when they stood up I'd have a shot, easy money, and it was just still too deep. I couldn't get high enough. I kept trying to work up that hill and get higher so I could see down into the holes. But like, to get high enough to see down in there and shoot the buck, you had to be like 75 yards away. What's a real bummer is that now we're in the afternoon, pretty deep. We got to find a place to camp, and we got like no timber or water around anywhere close, unless you go 1,000 feet down, straight down. Oh, what a bummer. In my mind, I was like at camp tonight with meat, getting ready to be packed out in the morning and go see my kids. These hunts are hard because it's something you love doing, you want to do, but I miss my kids and my wife when I'm out here. I'm smoked. Eric's smoked. That buck, we messed around with it all day, and we got to the point where we didn't get to go far enough in to get water and that kind of thing, or to check on water. And so now we're a little bit worried about not having water. And we've basically had a spike out for 3 days packed into our back. And we've been walking around with that all day and decided we're going to head back to the base camp, which is a little bit demoralizing. But I think the plan is hopefully rest our feet after we get there, dry them out, eat a bunch, get energized, and we may go after that buck we saw, the first decent buck we saw. So that's the plan. I think resting and energy and the source of food and that kind of thing is probably the most important thing we can do right now, because we are just sunburnt and zapped, and legs are done and feet are hurting. So I think if we can get a little rest, we'll have better spirits in the morning, and we'll take off then and go try to shoot a big buck again. About time to throw it on a tortilla. Good thing we got 20 tortillas. I'll have what I'm having. There's some deer over there. Look like small bucks. Kind of wonder if they're the ones we saw up here yesterday coming down. And they could drop down this way. They're in the willows over there. One of them looks kind of gray, but it might be that one that's kind of just a basket. This is day 2 of the season. Day 4 for us. We are beat after that mishap. Not been able to find water up here high like this. But I'm hoofing it in here, trying to get here before things kind of stop moving around. I think we're about 2 miles in, and it's pretty much all uphill. And we're gonna end up going up there to the saddle right there that you might be able to see in the background. And we're gonna glass all this stuff. There's an elk. I just spotted a buck. Looks like it might be a shooter. He's with a doe and a yearling. I'm gonna go grab the spotter and try to get a look at him. I may actually bring him back over here because there's less wind, but looks pretty good. And if he beds right there, dadgum, we can get a shot. As long as the thermals don't switch. Where are you going? He's gonna end up bedding right there, I bet you. And he's got two options. And I just hope we pick the right one. Well, I got a pretty good idea where that buck's bedded. It's not the greatest spot, so we're gonna move in to like 100 yards or so. And I think we can sit there and hopefully have enough height advantage we can see if he gets up. And if he does, then we'll be able to make a play, or he may just come out to us because there's a little grassy opening like he was feeding in earlier. So that's the plan. We're gonna work our way over there. We got a bunch of willow cover right here, which is good and bad, right? It's good for us since we're 130 yards off, but bad because it makes it tough to get shots. So it gives us a chance to get closer. So move everything up, be ready to just run as soon as we can. So we're being conservative because of what we experienced yesterday with the limited shots inside the willows. I just don't think it's going to turn out good. So we're basically hoping on a 50-50 chance that he comes this way. This is where they were feeding this morning in this opening back here behind me. I'm hoping that if I see him, I'll see him in the gap. Where is it? Right there. And I'll see him hopefully turn left. And if he turns left and starts walking out when it's like feeding time, I'm probably going to bust down here to the east right here. And I'm trying to find the trail on my phone video from the phone scope, see if I can figure out where the trail is and how far it is from those bushes. If it's in range, I'm stop there. If it's not, push on down a few more 20 yards or so. Try to use some cover, and hopefully when he pokes out and starts feeding, I get me a broadside shot. as close as we thought they were. They snuck out the back. Never saw them. And I was burning a hole in that spot. They snuck out the back and came up here. They were eating on the edge of this opening right here, I bet you. And then dumped down over there. Let's go back to camp. Let's go find that bigger deer over there and stay after him for the next couple of days, maybe. That deer's not a giant, but I would have liked to shot it for sure. Oh. Old man status. Whoa.
What do you think about tomorrow?
I think it could be very similar to today. Find a buck, sit on a buck for 7 hours, and don't see him come out. But you never know. Sometimes they do weird things and you get a chance at them. And that's what I'm hoping for tomorrow. I think it's day 3 of the season. Day 5 we've been here. Didn't sleep that great, but we're going to go to a different drainage, one that we were in early on, and hope that we can find or relocate the buck that we saw in there that had pretty good fronts, a pretty good frame overall. So he's a nice buck. We'd like to take him home, especially since our water's running low and our food supply. So we're about to head out bright and early. It's pretty dark out there, and hopefully by the time we get to where we can see him at about 12,002 or 12,004, it's not too late in the day. Lord, we come to you tired this morning, physically and mentally kind of beat up, and we just hope that and we pray and believe that you're with us and that we will succeed and overcome adversity and things that we've got going on right now. Lord, I pray that most of all, if we aren't successful, that we still hold you high in honor and glory and in the majesty that you are, the creation that you surround us with, and with everything that you deserve, Lord. Big buck. There's 4 deer up there. 2 of them are small, 2 of them are great. The internals on this thing are like fogged up somehow. I can't tell, he might be that big forky. He looks old, he's fat, you know. There's a deer right there. Fawn. I still think we ought to go up that thing at least a little bit, maybe all the way. I don't know, it's a bummer. It's like, if you don't bet a buck in the morning in some of these places, most of these places, it's like, you just sit there all day and wait to maybe see one before dark. It's like, what time is it? Almost 8. Everything's kind of shut down. And you just sit here till 6. That's a long time, man. Just baking in the sun. That's why I like whitetail hunting. I should have gone back to the other place this morning. We took a chance on this buck over here. Didn't show up this morning. Didn't see him at least. And I think we're going to go back to where we've had the most buck sightings, or shooter buck sightings, which is 4 miles from here or so. So we're going to actually go back to camp, rest, get some stuff together, and we're going to attempt another spike out for tonight. So we'll actually spike out tonight, set up camp, maybe go hunt a little bit this evening, or at least scout. And then that way we'll be close in the morning so we can get a good early start and try to give it just one more last really good effort here at the end of the hunt. But for now, 2 miles back to camp and then tacos for lunch. Tacos, sausage, Coke Zero, water, Dove chocolate, all the good stuff. That's what we just did. I'm actually feeling pretty good about it. Left knee's kind of sore. I heard it in the Gila in 2019 when we were chasing around big elk there. I was filming for KC, but it's a little bit swollen right now, which is kind of weird. I did feel it tweak a couple times, but didn't think much of it. Anyway, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna head out. We're gonna spike out. So we're gonna take our times, middle of the day. Once we get there, we're setting up, dropping a bunch of weight, water and other things, because it's pretty dry up there at 12,500 feet. And we're gonna go hunting this evening, and I'm gonna shoot a mule deer buck this evening. I think that's what's gonna happen. Yep. One of the cool things about onX is they have a 3D map, so like when you're thinking about where, you know, you can scout from, see different areas that you might want to look at. For instance, in this case, willow trees, right? We're looking for willows. That's where most of the bucks have been. Well, they are up in certain high basins, so from certain mountains I can't see those, and from others I can, or even from parts of that mountain I can see. So I can look and find a mountain that has several different willow thickets that I can see via the 3D, and then I can set up for the evening and see a lot of country as opposed to just one willow thicket that hopefully either has a shooter or doesn't. But it's a pretty handy feature. I know what I'd do different now. I just thought of it. First time we bedded that buck when he was down in the timber, I should have known he would end up near the willows, or in the willows, or at least I do now, because that's where he made a roundabout into the backside of those willows, and I could have made a run down there potentially and got a shot before we got in the willows. But got a couple more days, so maybe he'll do that, or a buck will do that. I think he's one of the two bucks from yesterday, probably. Can't tell if he's the bigger one or the smaller one. I don't know if I can get there in time and get him shot, because he is a long ways from the opening. I don't know, I don't know if we've seen that buck actually. I mean, he's just like nothing special, but I would love to take him for a ride in the back of the truck. He's a half mile very straight down. I don't know if that's going to work tonight, but maybe we'll see him in the morning. But it's got to take me like 15 or 20 minutes just to get down there. Dadgummit. Was there dirt on my spoon? I didn't think there was. Just gonna have to eat it. Just eat it. Eat it. No, you know I wanna eat it. Let me see if there's parsley in this thing. I don't want to be looking at too many of these ingredients, that's for sure. Green peas, carrots, onions, sage, thyme. Yep, okay. That could be thyme for sure. Maybe some sage. Yeah, palm oil. It's good for you, right? Big old seed. Alright, let's see if it's ready. Oh, hot. Yep, it's ready. Man, let me just tell y'all, if you've never slept at 12,200 feet when the wind wasn't blowing, you've never had a quiet night of sleep. It was almost like too quiet to sleep. It was wild. Getting an early start. Spiked out. So we're a lot closer than we were to where we want to glass this morning. We're going to get over there pretty early. You might can see, but behind me the sun is just now making some light on the horizon. So I'm thinking we're going to get there as early as we've been all the whole trip pretty much. So hopefully that'll allow us to get around that little peak right there without getting seen. And I don't know, see a buck and make a move on him. My standards have decreased dramatically since the beginning of this trip. So it's pretty much like if it's got velvet antlers, I might be putting a stalk on it this morning. One in the back looks like a bull. It is a bull. There's some big bucks in there. Golly, dude. I feel like we should take this trail over, kind of get out of their way, see where they go, make a move. There's some big bucks in there. Oh, he's like the sixth on the back. You see him? Yeah, that video works. Up there and watch them. That's what we've been waiting for. Obviously different We didn't want a group of 12 deer with a bunch of shooter bucks in it. We wanted one or two or three or four that we could stalk in on. They were in a bad spot up above us. When we came over this, there was nowhere to hide. There was no... As soon as I got to the top here, we were going to look down at what we've been looking at. I turn around, there's deer everywhere, big bucks. And there was no way to do anything. Like, we couldn't hide that way. When we started going that way, they started running. So we came back over here, tried to kind of hide behind this mountain. It just didn't work. And they went over the top at like 13,000. I think they're going to be in the next unit. That makes sense to where they would go. They could circle around back into this unit. We'll keep an eye back this way, but they're going to end up bedding back there in that other unit, which... Oh, I just want to cry. It's tough. But we need to get up here in class so we can find us a small book to shoot. There's literally no way to do it different. You're just not going to be walking around at 13,000 feet on peak to peak in the morning. You may walk up to that to scout in class, but like, you're not just going to walk over the top of that bluff right there. No, like, that's not a place that you would go unless you had seen deer there and didn't spook them or something. It hurts so bad, but I don't think there's anything that we could have or would have or should have done differently. We got up to 12,400 feet, and they were just right on top of us from our glassing point, our first glassing point. That's big time letdown. I'm gonna go up because I gotta get some peace of mind, and I'm gonna go up to 13,000 or whatever they were at and peek over. I need to see if they're gonna stay in that unit, if they're gonna come around back here behind us on this big slope, or if they're gonna go into the other drainage in our unit that we were thinking about going. But either way, it's gonna help me make plans, I think. I'm gonna leave Eric here because he's tired, and there's potential he could find a buck back in here for me to stalk in a little bit. So anyway, I'm gonna trudge my way uphill.
as you guys can see, we had a pretty good shooter right here. Tyler saw him bed, so he snuck up on the bed, but I'm in a position where I can't see either of them right now. I could probably get down here and try to film them, but I really don't want to mess this up, so there's a good chance that this shot's not going to be on film. But I think Tyler's really close to making this happen. Well, it's been about an hour since I last talked to you. I'm assuming Tyler's just waiting for him to stand up. He's probably got him pinned down. And he's just waiting on him to get up out of his bed. Could happen any minute. Could take a while, but I think Tyler's got a real good chance at this. I shot him. Spined him, I think.
Eric's coming down here. He said he's dead. I thought he was dead. Is he not dead?
He's down. I just seen him moving again, though.
Yeah, I spined him, I think.
I think so, too. But he's down.
What was he doing when he was moving?
Trying to move.
But he was just in the same spot. Okay, I need to go up here and finish him. I got 2 arrows. I gotta make a good shot.
So, see the little pine?
The farthest to the left of
He's
the
just
3.
left to that, probably a little up. Yes.
Okay, I don't know what the best way to get a shot is, but I think it's gonna be around this way. Come on with me, come on with me. We're gonna be super quiet, but we're both going in, okay? And we're just gonna try to get to where we can finish him from the best position as possible.
I hit him good on the last one. The second shot, I was kind of falling off the edge, but I had a good shot and I was close. I hit him good, I think. It's just a big old tough mountain animal. He's huge. Like scared to be that close. I'd like it to be prettier, y'all, but it ain't pretty when a bear or wolf eats a mule deer in the wild either. He should be dead. His head went down. But we'll give him a few minutes. We might need to collect ourselves in some gear. We'll get a look at him. I'm sorry, I was overcome with emotion. I can't believe it worked. I had almost given up. I thought he had smelled me because the wind was swirling when I was coming down in here. And I thought for sure he was gone. And I had just moved like 5 minutes before that. I moved like 6 feet to get a little better position. And I looked up and there was just big old... And I came to full draw once, didn't get the shot, came to full draw the second time, and this stuff is so thick that I hit him a little bit high just because I misjudged where his actually vitals were. I could see part of his body, and I lobbed it over into that. I felt good about the shot, but it did hit spine a little bit high. But I think he's dead. Oh, so many emotions, so much time spent walking at 12,000 feet. So many years of applying consecutively for 10 or 11 years, whatever it is, to draw this tag. And he's by no means the biggest deer we've seen, but he was until this morning. Oh my gosh. That's the one we stalked the first day, I'm pretty sure. Shot him from up there. I'm sure I wasn't all the way down like you need to be on a downhill shot. This is the bed he's laying in. I guarantee you it is, because I can see where I was pretty close to where I was at this morning, and I can see him. I knew he was in between these two trees somewhere, but I thought he was back here. That's a habitual bed though right there. Probably get sun. You can smell him. Smell the buck. Smell it. What a big animal. You know, this morning those bucks had me all flustered, and I thought, well, what's the plan from here? You know, like, where do we go? If there's nothing here, we're not seeing anything, and those deer busted out, should we be here since we've spiked out this direction, or should we spike back another direction and just give it one more good go before the end of the trip? This is the second to last day of the hunt, and I started just hoofing it up there to see where those deer had gone, see if they possibly had gone to another drainage that we can hunt in our unit. I got probably like 12, 6, 7, 8 up, way up. And I turn around on a break because I was breathing hard, and I look at Eric, and it's like, he's like, ah, big buck. And I know like what this means, you know? And so I was like glassing him, and he pointed, and I looked down, I could see this buck eating right up here. And so I hoofed it down as fast as I could. You probably saw it. And I got here, and I thought I got to like 120 from him, and I just could not really close the distance. Well, then he disappeared, and as I sat there, I was just like, be patient. Don't, you know, when they eat, they take forever sometimes to move. So I was like, be patient. Sat there for like 15, 20 minutes. Didn't see him. Saw Eric. He didn't know where he went. So I eased up a little bit, and I glassed him. I could see him down in his bed where we just passed, right? And so I was like, I told Eric, I'm going around. I see him. I'm going around this big mountain right here. And I went around and basically just started crawling in. And I crawled all the way down that mountain. There was a couple of places where it was really rocky and steep. And the whole time I'm trying not to knock rocks down the hill. Like every time I was just going down feet first, and every time I would pull my hands up, rocks were stuck to my hands and they'd fall off. So everything I had to do was super careful. The bow couldn't slide down the hill and make a noise. I had to place certain rocks that were under my butt and stuff like in different
flat spots so they wouldn't roll down the hill, and just didn't. By the time I got down here, I was throwing milkweed and I couldn't tell, but it seemed like almost that the wind, there was a thermal going up, but then when it got down in this bowl, it would swoop back around. I couldn't quite tell, so I kept throwing it. I was like, okay, well, whatever. So I got all the way down finally, right before the sun finally started, about the time it started hitting me, and just sat there patiently for probably almost an hour. And I had lost confidence he was even here. I mean, I was totally just like, this buck has smelled me, or he's seen Eric up top or something. And about the time I moved like 3 or 4 feet just to get a little different perspective, there's a huge rack sitting in the willows. And I really didn't think I was gonna get a shot. I drew on him once, didn't get the shot I wanted, drew on him the second time, and these willows right in here are just short enough that I was able to get a shot on him. I don't think I had my tee correct, and I ended up hitting him a little high, but he's dead. We made it happen. Raw footage, not pretty, but it's part of hunting sometimes, and I'm glad to have killed this buck in the morning, and we're gonna spend the rest of the day packing him out. Let's take a look at him. Oh man, I've never really touched a velvet horn like this. Oh my gosh, flies are already crazy. Oh man. Oh, look at that, y'all. What a beautiful animal. Oh man, that velvet feels insane. First mule deer buck with a bow. Only took me 10 years of applying to get it. And some heartbreak and hard times, but we're here. Man.